nice and uniform. The tyre sitting beautifully in the wheel. Hi guys, Brett here from Hearns Hobbies, and today I'd like to do a little bit of a tutorial on gluing up some tyres. So there's a couple of things that we're going to need. So these, for starters, these are 1/10 off-road rear tyres I'm gluing up. These ones are Sweet Tendroid yellows, something that we run at one of our local tracks. A lot of people ask, how do you glue your tyres up and how do you prepare them? So you know what, I thought I'd take the opportunity and make a video. And again guys, if I'm doing it wrong or you think I could do it better myself, just let me know. But this is how I do it anyway. Okay, so we're going to start by opening the tyres. Actually, we're going to start by going through what we need. So first of all, obviously we've got the tyres. Take them out, fresh out of the packet, put them to the side. Be gone with that. Hold on to the tyre bag, that can be handy for later. We've got our wheels, using Yokomo 1/10 buggy rear wheels. These are to go on my Yokomo. Go ahead and open these ones up. Fluoro yellow, because apparently that's the fast colour. Not too sure. Here we go. It's got some yellow wheels. I've got here a much loved hole punch. That's used to actually put holes in the tyre so the tyre can breathe. The wheels do come with holes in them, but the preferred method is to actually put them in the tyre as well. And most of the Australian regulations say that we're allowed to put no more than 2 holes in the tyre for sanctioned events. And Tyre Bands. In this case, I've just got some rubber bands here that I use. Nice, cheap, inexpensive, easy to get. Get them by the packet of 100. And they help hold the tyre onto the wheel. And last thing, I suppose, or not last thing, got our super glue, our Tyre CA. So for this one, I really love the Yokomo product. Yeah, really cool. Comes in a nice little bag to keep it nice and fresh. Comes with a little pin into the cap, so it always keeps it nice and unblocked. And even better, comes with obviously the sealing cap, and comes with a couple of ultrafine nozzles. And that's something that we really want to use to get right deep into the tyre bead to ensure that the glue goes all the way in. Okay, I've got a rag here and I've got some spirits. This here is just a IPA, just a alcohol, and that's to clean any release agent from the tyre and the wheel assembly and make sure that we've got a nice clean surface for the tyre glue to work on. So the first thing I'm going to do is punch a couple of holes into the tyres. So I usually keep the yellow dot in this instance, because I will mark the wheel, and I usually put the tyre here, and I usually put it on the inner sidewall of the tyre. Can be a little bit tricky, but doesn't usually pose too much of a problem. That said, I don't think my hole punch is the sharpest. Something like that, and then 180 degrees this side. Some people prefer to put it in the middle of the tread. Again, yeah, I don't mind either way, but this is just a way I do it, and I find once you get into the own rhythm of doing things, you just seem to keep on doing them. So yeah, here we go. Got a couple of holes there, no bigger than 4mm in diameter. We'll do this other set too while we're here. Again, keep the yellow dot on the inside. This one. And then we got this one. Like so. Just get my little, where did the hole go? Here it is. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give the tyres a bit of a clean with the alcohol. Some people use brake cleaner. Yeah, you can use a range of different things. I do recommend it. Some people I've even heard of using Simple Green product. Just give it a quick wipe over, make sure there's nothing on the bead. If I was had the fourth thaw for it and did it with a white rag, you'd be able to see the mess coming off onto the tyre. In this case, it's just a You want to make sure on this rag that you're cleaning it with that there's no oil or grease pre-existing on there. Of course, we don't want to be wiping oil and grease onto the tyre. We want to be cleaning it off. Make sure the super glue is got every chance of doing its best to stick. Okay, go ahead, wipe over the bead of the wheel like so, again making sure there's no residue from manufacturing. Put the holes to the inside like so. We'll set this tyre on and get it to sit nice in the bead. Can take a little bit of work. Something you don't want to rush too much, because if it's out of balance or not glued in correctly, you'll most likely damage the tyre and won't finish your race. There we go. Put the Tyre Band on. And I usually put that somewhere over the bead, and that just ensures, because the compound is so soft, that when I pull it off to make sure the glue goes in, is that the tyre does in fact go back into the bead like so and doesn't stick out. Okay, I'll give this one a quick wipe down. Okay, put the second one on. Okay, so getting this second tyre on. Now, like I said, everybody has their own ways. I haven't gone to the trouble of modifying or cutting, trimming the foam insert in any way, shape or form. I find they work well good enough for me in this configuration at our local track. The sweep inserts are actually really nice quality closed cell. Go ahead, put my bands on. Super soft, this yellow compound. Really good on an oil track in winter down here in Melbourne, where it can be quite chilly. Okay, so we've got our bands on. We've got our tyres effectively mounted onto the wheel. Now it's time to get our glue. So for this, go ahead, make sure that the super glue fine nozzle goes on, and we'll go ahead now and glue it up. So usually just roll back the bead a little bit. This glue is super thin, so won't have a problem going in there. Less is more when it comes to super glue. Sometimes you really want to put a little amount on in various steps around the wheel, just rolling the bead back a little bit to ensure that you've got a maximum amount of surface area for the glue to actually seat. You don't want to puddle in any one point. You can see here it's starting to pull and puddle around the bead, ensuring that pull it back a little bit, all while working its way in. So what I go ahead and do now is put extra on the bead, just to make sure they've got a nice consistent bead of glue all the way around the tyre like so, and just roll it around gently. You'll see the nice little bead there. It's nice and uniform. The tyre sitting beautifully in the wheel. Just moving it around. Now the glue will effectively be dry already where it's contact, but where it's puddled up it won't be dry, so I want to sit that to the side for a minute. At this point I usually take the Tyre Band off, give it another work in just to make sure that it's in everywhere, and then we'll sit it to the side. Again, the same with the second wheel. I usually start from the inside bead, and everybody has their own techniques and their own rituals when doing it. We just want to, again, just pulling the bead back, making sure that it's going in nicely. Like so. There we have it. Again, I'm going to put some more on just to ensure I've filled all the gaps up. Get a nice little consistent bead around here. Let it feed through. Not getting it in the vent holes that we've put. Around the wheels. Okay, Tyre Band off. Work it in. And there we go. And that is the inside done. So usually what I would do is I would let that sit for a good 10 or 15 minutes until that has completely dried off. Here's the set I've done earlier. So these ones here, I'll just get my rag. If I give it a wipe, you can see here it is actually perfectly dry. So it's safe to put my hands around it. Otherwise you end up getting super glue all over your hands, making a mess. CA can actually be really dangerous, difficult to work with. So you want to make sure that adults are doing this at the very least. Yeah, you can easily stick your eyes and fingers together and it can be very nasty stuff. Again, with any cleanup you can use acetone. Some nail polish removers I think are generally acetone based. So again, go ahead and put my Tyre Bands on. Now it's time to do the outside bead. So I'm going to go ahead here, again pull it back. I usually try and make it a little bit neater on the outside bead. Like so. Pulling it back, getting it right into the bead on the wheel. Like so. And I'll go ahead and put another bead on. Make sure they've got a nice uniform bead of tire glue all the way around. Like so. Go ahead, pull the band off. Just roll it around in my hand. Sit it down. Same with the other tire, do the outside bead. Pulling it back. Like so. I think we've got enough on the bead on this one. Work it around. Go ahead, pull this one off. Like so. Then you want to give that a good 10 or 15 minutes before you fit that to the car and run. You definitely don't want to spin it up on the car in case there's undried, there's wet super glue that can flick off and go everywhere. Generally it's best done if you can the night before or days before you go racing. And then I usually give them a good pull and check before they go on the car, and usually in between races as well. After a race I'll make sure that there's no glue that's coming unstuck, or in fact more likely that the tyres are tearing and getting damaged, because that can actually happen. Now, they actually won't come unglued, but the tyre itself, if you damage it or hit the curbs or whatever, as I'm prone to do, you can in fact damage and tear the tyre. Alright guys, I'm Brett from Hearns Hobbies, and I hope you've enjoyed this video, the tutorial on gluing up some 1/10 off-road tyres.